back.
Sometimes turning that page means starting a whole new story. And that's what we're doing today on Coffee with Dubs, so grab a cup. I've got some big news to share.
Yesterday, we talked about how ordinary days quietly become the memories we treasure the most. Well, last night, I had a realization that ordinary days do something else too. Sometimes they quietly build the breakthrough you've been waiting for, and you don't even realize it till it's happening, until one evening, everything finally clicks.
I walked out, turned the studio lights on, sat down at the drawing table, and pulled out a fresh piece of Bristol paper. It was just another night, nothing special about it. I wasn't expecting some burst of inspiration or a magical moment. Honestly, I figured I'd just spend more time thinking than drawing like I usually do.
For months now, the second Bolt Voltage book has been living in the back of my mind. Every now and then, I get an idea that shows up while I'm walking the dogs, riding the bike, or driving to work. I'd make a note, think about it for a while, and then another piece would come along in a few days. None of it felt like it was making progress because there wasn't anything I actually put on paper. And people have asked over the last year whether the second book was coming out or not. I never had a good answer. It wasn't because I didn't want to make it, it was because I wasn't interested in forcing a sequel because people expected one. If Bolt was coming back, I wanted to make sure there was a reason for him to come back. Before I touched the blank page, I reached over and grabbed the first book off the shelf. Started flipping through until we got to the arcade page where we left Bolt in the first story. I just sat there kind of staring at the drawing for a while, because it's funny, when you look at artwork you created years ago, you see it through completely different eyes. There were parts of that drawing I still loved, but there were also things I knew I could do better now. I started noticing little details I would change, different angles I wanted to explore, and areas that deserved a little more room to breathe. Instead of copying the original, I decided to redraw the entire arcade from scratch at a much larger scale. That's when one decision made everything change. I decided to remove the back wall from the arcade for reasons that the readers will know. Suddenly, the arcade wasn't just a setting anymore. It became part of the story's transition from one story to a series coming to life. That led me to another realization. The first book used traditional comic layout, several panels on a single page, and it worked well for the story. This time though, it felt limiting. I wanted each page to be one large illustration that fills an entire page so readers can spend more time exploring the artwork before moving on to the next part of the story. As I kept sketching, something else happened that surprised me. It wasn't just a drawing that was coming together. The entire timeline of the book suddenly made sense. I knew how I wanted to bring the readers back into Bolt's world, where the story was going, and why this sequel needed to exist in the first place. It almost felt strange because I'd been telling myself for months that I was stuck. Looking back now, I don't think I was stuck at all. My brain was still working on the story every single day. Every random idea, every note I wrote down, every little problem I solved was another brick being added to something I couldn't see yet. I think that's why breakthroughs seem so sudden. We only notice the moment everything comes together. We don't see the ordinary days that made the moment possible. We don't give ourselves credit for thinking, wondering, experimenting, or even walking away from a problem for a while. We only celebrate that finish line. Last night reminded me that creativity doesn't always happen with a flash of inspiration. Sometimes it grows so quietly that you don't notice it until you're sitting in front of a blank sheet of paper, and suddenly it isn't blank anymore. The ideas were there all along, they just needed enough time to find each other. Maybe that's true about drawing comic books. Maybe it's true for anything worth doing. We get discouraged because we can't see progress when, in reality, progress is happening beneath the surface every single day. Then, one ordinary evening arrives and what looked impossible yesterday suddenly feels inevitable. I'm excited to see where the story goes, and I'm even more excited to share the journey with all of you. The first page is finished. The story is finally moving again, and for the first time in a long time, I honestly can't wait to sit back down at that drawing table. So thanks for joining me for another pour on Coffee with Dubs. Until next time, don't underestimate the ordinary days. They may be building you quietly to the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Now, I'm gonna go break through to some lunch. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm out of here.